Should we muffle or not muffle our kick drum? And if so, how much muffling should we use? Let's check out 5 main muffling methods and degrees of muffling, and we'll wrap up by looking at a rather extreme example, which is pretty interesting. Hey everybody, welcome to the Non-Glamorous Drummer. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Let's go do some kick muffling. This all depends on, and I have a list here, context, song, room, personal taste, the drum itself, how you're miking it, etc., etc. We can go on down the list. There's a lot of different variables that might determine how much muffling or not muffling you want to put on your kick drum. And personal taste is a big one. Style of music is huge. I personally kind of like a moderate amount of muffling where it's enough that there's not all that excess boominess, but I definitely want to maintain tone. And that's something that we'll talk about. We've got a bunch of different utensils that we're using here to achieve these various degrees of muffling. This is a good one. Good old, dirty, cheap hospital pillow. I don't know where this came from. I'm not even sure how long I've had it, but it's a really good go-to muffling method. Also got this old beach towel, which is also really old and dirty. Find old dirty things that you don't need anywhere else, put them in your kick drum if you want to muffle it. This has been in my kick drum for pretty much any video that you've watched from the last few months. I've just had this in there, and that's been the degree of muffling I've liked. So it's going to be a good medium that we're going to check out. Also got this foam ring that goes on the Evans EMAD head I have over on this side of the drum. So we'll check out what difference that might make. A small microfiber towel and some tape that we're going to experiment with and see what we can do with that. And right now I have no muffling. Virtually no muffling. I have my Beta 52 inside mic sitting on a little t-shirt that's folded up in the center of the kick drum. So virtually no muffling. And as far as the rest of the mic setup goes, I have a ribbon mic on the outside of the drum. It's about probably 1.5 feet in front of the resonant head. And I really like to get a lot of my kick drum sound from that because it sounds really good. It picks up a lot of low end. So the inside mic will get a little more of the attack, but the outside will get more of the beef in the body of the drum. So we're gonna be listening to those in combination, and you'll definitely hear a lot of differences between the degrees of muffling. Also, I'm going to be bouncing the beater the whole time through all these examples just to be consistent. I'm using my Vader Bomber beater. How about I'll take it off and show it to you. This right here, Vader Bomber wool beater. I've had this thing for a long time. I really like it. It's one of my go-to beaters. Because it's a lighter beater with a little bit less attack, I think it really brings out the differences in degrees of muffling a lot. And as we go, feel free to leave in the comments which muffling method is your favorite. We're gonna be starting with the more subtle ones and gradually working our way up to the last one, which is really extreme, but at the same time kind of cool and very applicable in certain situations. So let's get started. Now we're just going to add the foam ring right here on this side. It tucks into a plastic sleeve that's built into the head. If you're not familiar with the EMAD. That's actually a pretty decent difference because the foam ring it really focuses the sound more. It's a little more punchy, less of the overtone, less of the ringing. So honestly, that's a pretty cool sound. It's a nice, big, boomy kind of sound, and that's without any additional muffling on the inside, just the foam ring on the outside. That is one thing that I like about the Evans EMAD heads. Now we're gonna add a little bit of additional muffling with this microfiber towel and some gaff tape. A little bit of that towel is making contact with the resonant head, which will decrease a little bit of the rumble, and again, it'll focus the tone a little more. So let's see if we can hear a difference now. Now we're going to add the beach towel folded and laying in the middle of the drum. Basically, it's going to look like this. I'm just going to have it laid out sitting in the drum, and ideally not touching either head. It might be slightly touching the batter head, but I'm going to try to make sure it doesn't touch the resonant head. Not that it makes a difference since we've already got the microfiber towel on there. But again, some other combinations, variations here. If you take off that microfiber towel so there's nothing on the reso head, put this on the inside against the batter but not against the reso, you can maintain some of that rumble while still focusing the tone a little. At this point, it's a little bit too dead to my liking. Now, what I would probably do is just take off the microfiber towel. How about let's just do that? So this is going to be sort of an additional version of this. What we're going to do next will get even crazier. But I do want you to listen to the towel without the microfiber towel over here. Basically what happened there with that variation, to my ears, what I'm hearing a good bit of the close kick mics. There's more low end. There's a little bit more depth, more body to it, less of a quick thump and more of a thump. There's a little more tone to it, maybe a little bit more of a note, which I like more, and that's why this has been my go-to method for a while. So I've got the foam ring here, plus the towel on the inside. So now is when things will get a little bit crazy. We really don't need to keep the towel in there, but because we're going to put a hospital pillow in next, it doesn't really make a difference whether or not the towel's in there. So I'm going to leave it in there. We're going to put the hospital pillow in, which is going to go up against the batter head. So that's going to kill the tone even further. I'm also going to drop the microfiber towel back down on the resonant head. So at this point, it's going to be about as dead as this drum could get, or so you might think. So this will be our method number 4. Yeah, that's definitely pretty dead. But there's one more thing we can do, and at that point it will be as dead and killed and completely short of a sound as you can possibly imagine. So let's do one more thing and see how ridiculous this can get. So now at this point, since we've taken off the resonant head does do what its name says it does. It helps create the resonance and tone of the drum. Without that, the kick drum is going to be totally dead. Plus, I smushed the hospital pillow even further up against the batter head, and the Beta 52 is pretty much buried in the pillow. We still have the exterior mic right out there at the same spot. And just for good measure, because this is now going to be a totally dead kick sound, let's make this a dead snare sound. It'll be kind of cool. Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope it gave you some good info. Be sure to share the video before you go and become a Non-Glamour subscriber if you haven't already. Thanks guys, take care, I'll see you on the next video.